What's up, guys? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? This time I'm gonna do something a little differently with my recaps and my thoughts and things like this. I'm gonna go best to least, I guess, and I'm only gonna do 3 this time. Thundercats was a filler episode, was okay, but you won't really see a review of that. Sorry, guys. This time I'm starting off with Young Justice. Why? Because we got a lot to talk about in this one, and it was very interesting indeed. We got some more answers that we all been looking for. All right, so let's kick it off, shall we? Young Justice episode 30, entitled Salvage. Okay, so the date, of course, February 13th, and basically the bottom line was Superboy he goes out because he kind of doesn't want to stay in the Mount Justice, because he's looking at McGann and Lagoon. They're all like lovey-dovey, and he's like, okay, if Dick is gonna be out doing whatever he does, then I'm gonna do it. And where was Dick and Dick, or Nightwing, I should say? He was basically out along with Wally West. Yeah, we saw Wally, Jim Harper, aka Guardian, Green Arrow, and Black Canary. They tracked down Red Arrow, the clone Roy Harper, and he's pretty much down on his luck. He's depressed. He's got a 5 o'clock shadow. He saves this store owner from being robbed, but what does he do? He steals from him, and it was like, man, he must be, and he's on his down on his luck, guys, because of the fact that he failed finding the real Speedy. So, like I said, Superboy takes Blue Beetle, Jaime, along with him, and they go off to battle Intergang, because they realize Superboy is using his head in this. This was actually interesting. He actually used his head. He was like, the bomb that Aqualad had detonated was from alien technology, and he felt that there's only one place that it could come from. He talked about boom tubes and stuff like that. So he figured out Intergang is involved in it. So he went off to look for Bruno Mannheim and his lieutenant, Whispered Adair. And they found them at the Hall of Justice. And that's where basically the criminals reanimate the Omniplexian golems that the first 7 members of the Justice League had stopped. And that's where basically where it goes from there. And in the meantime, back where with Wally and all of them, we heard Wally had quit. He's not in the superhero gang anymore. He kind of quit. Guardian quit being good Guardian, Jim Harper. And they're just trying to reason with Roy and be like, none of us has quit looking for the real Roy, and he's just depressed. It was just really sad to see him. He was out of shape. He looked kind of bulimic a little bit. He didn't look like himself, and Black Canary even came at him like, she's like, I was holding back. Like, she's like, really? Okay, let's put that to the test and see how good you really are. And she's like, I was holding back exponentially. Like, she wasn't even trying. And she nearly made Roy fall off the rooftop that they were on. In the meantime, back where with Superboy, Wolf, the Super Sphere, and Jaime, we get a little bit more into Jaime. He starts explaining his origin, and we get to finally hear the Scarab actually talking this time. So he kind of explains everything now, like who he's talking to. It is in this series, it is said that the Scarab was created by Ted Kord. Ted Kord was the Blue Beetle in this series, which was good. And Superboy's like, yeah, I've heard of him. He was a good man. And so right there, when he said he was, past tense, it was like, okay, something happened to Ted Kord. And it was seen that the light killed Ted Kord. Man. And so basically, it is said that the scarab was his final invention, not of alien origin, actually. And that's where it kind of goes into place. So while the golems are rampaging through on a nuclear plant, uh, Jaime is finds a way to talk to the creatures, to the golems, and he learns that they just want to stop feeling pain, you know, and that's where basically in the distance we see Sportsmaster make, basically with an unknown assailant. We don't know who he is, but they got a partnership going, and later on we see them pretty much make an example out of Bruno Mannheim and Whisper. However, while Jaime's talking to the golems, that basically that unknown assailant basically destroys the golems with a black version of Jaime's sonic cannon, and we don't see that, and that was it. Jaime's left, and he's like, "What happened?" Like, and Superboy is looking around to see what's going on. They find Bruno and Whisper, and they're just like comatose. They're alive, but they're comatose. Which just leaves us, what happened? Who is this assailant? I have my clues, but I'm not really sure I should say it, guys. Who the Sportsmaster's assailant is, but it does take place it takes place February 14th, Valentine's Day, and Wally goes back home. And who is home with Wally? Artemis. Yeah, we see her. She's decked out in this old football jersey, and she wishes they have a happy Valentine's Day. And she just talks about, you're worried about Roy, aren't you? He's like, yeah, he's falling apart. Meanwhile, Roy goes into his place, and we encounter Cheshire. And it turns out, and here's the big plug right here, guys. Turns out Cheshire and Roy are legally married. They're married, and they got a kid. So she wants him to clean up and act clean up, to be a good father for his daughter, and she wants to help Roy. She wants him to come clean, everything like that, and she wants him to come home soon, because as well as she gives him a lead to find the real Roy. And pretty much it ends right there. This was a good episode. Once again, they filling in the plots, filling in those plot holes that we all been wanting to know about. But yeah, wow, the light killed Ted Cord. Damn, man, I love Ted Cord. He was my favorite of the Blue Beetles. Because why? If you guys want to know why, because unlike Garrison Cade, the first Blue Beetle, Garrison Cade and Jaime, Ted Cord could never activate the Scarab. So he had to use his wits and his intelligence and everything like that to come up with how to defend as the Blue Beetle. And he did a hell of a job. And to me, having him die the way he did, he went out like a true hero in a way. Yeah, so yeah, he got his head blown off, but he did leave a mark on the Blue Beetle legacy. And to hear that they killed him off again in this kind of hurts, that kind of hurt. But Salvage was good. This episode was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's good to see Wally and Artemis are still alive. They must have just quit being, gave up the superhero game for a while. They're still together. That's good to know. Unlike Calder, they haven't turned to the dark side. And kind of interesting to see Cheshire actually trying to be kind of good. She's a mom, and she wants the baby's father in the life and stuff like that. That's all right there. I respect that. I respect that a lot. So other than that, guys, this was good. You guys tell me what you thought about this episode. Um, and other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid with one down, two more to go. On to the next.